as a filmmaker, my passion lies telling stories that can travel, resonate, and it's very important to have a local relationship in order to have global relationship. As the film industry becoming more and more increasingly global, as you guys notice. And today's panel bring together leading voices from different point of view from Scandinavia. We will explore what it means to normalize care, international filmmaking, also discuss the production, the practice, how we can reimagine, prioritize ethic, inclusion, and sustainability. So basically the global relationship are very important from early on. But before we continue, I also want to take a moment to thank Yannibe's Prudence, and the team. Thank you, all of you, for doing this. It makes so much fuss. And she's not here, probably, but she knows, and you know. So, today's panelists, guys, welcome. Now the spotlight will be on you. You guys bring a unique perspective from institutional to support training and production. So welcome. So we start with Oliver. Oliver, you are a producer and a director and writer. Do you want to tell a little bit about yourself, what you do?
I'm a Swedish film producer. I'm French originally, but I have a Swedish company and I work a lot in co-production. I've been working a lot recently, also co-producing with the MENA region, producing a film called Costa Brava, Lebanon. We were 6 co-producing countries for Lebanese debut that ended up in Venice and in Toronto. I've worked also a couple of times with Africa. We did a film with a Swedish director of African heritage from Uganda. It's called Baker Karim. I did a free film with him. And the last one we did in Kenya. That was a crazy adventure. But the film won a prize in the AFRIF in Lagos and is going around in festival. Will be released in Sweden in August, and with support from SydneysBuzz. Yes, this kind of funny stuff, crazy stuff we are doing.
Thank you, Oliver. Welcome. Thank you. And Emma Campbell, you are the head of Film and TV Drama at Swedish Film Institute. Can you please tell us short what you do?
We're sharing.
Yes, we share. Well, I'm head of Film and TV at the Swedish Institute, and we are working with the relation building between Sweden and other countries. So I work closely with the Swedish embassies around the world, and we do delegations to other countries with Swedish producers and creators. So we are very much focused on the building of relations.
Thank you, Emma. And Lisa, you are the head of the documentary Film i Skåne and International Relationship. Do you have it? Okay, good. Do you want to tell us a little bit about you?
Yes. So I'm head of documentary at my regional film fund, which is Film i Skåne, covering south of Sweden. You guys might have heard of other regional film funds in Sweden as well, such as Film i Väst, Film Stockholm, and Film på Nord. So we're part of the funding ecosystem in Sweden. And as a regional film fund, I have been having the pleasure of supporting films like Yalla Parkour, that's traveling a lot now. It opened at Doc NYC, where it won the award for Best International Documentary, and then went to Red Sea and then to Panorama section in Berlinale this year, and traveling a lot, so we're super happy for that. And that was a special co-production because it was with a Swedish-based producer, Syrian origin, Palestinian-American director living in the US, and Swedish funding mostly. So I can talk about that later on if you want to. And yeah, we have a film here that I should plug for.
And also you had a film that premiered the other day.
Yes, Being Bo Widerberg, about late director Bo Widerberg, premiered at Cannes Classics last Thursday.
Yeah, congratulations. Thank you. And Helena Granqvist, she couldn't be here because she's sick, but she want to also send everybody their love. Okay, and she's also currently in a lineup for distribution for her latest film, Confession Man, with Hampus Linder, who is the director. Just to mention her as well. And well, welcome, Lena. Now over to you, Lena. Lena Boyklund, you are producer, founder of Space Rocket. Do you want to tell us a little short about yourself and a friend? All of you are friends.
Yes. Does this work? Yes. I'm a producer from Denmark. I have been producing many films for many, many years, and I've done very many co-productions with different areas of the world. Most of the things that I do are outside of Denmark. I haven't yet produced a film with Africa, but I'm working hard on it. And I'm going very soon into production with the first Danish feature film about the African community in Copenhagen, which is very close to my heart because my family is mixed and my kids are brown. So I think it's very important to get these stories out also in our region and to build relationships and co-productions with countries in Africa.
Thank you. Last but not least, Ine Katrin Rasmussen. Oh, I almost forgot your name. No, but Ine, you are head of the industry training in National Film School of Denmark. Can you please tell us a little bit about what you do?
Yes, we organize training mostly for the local industry. In Denmark, there is the school where the students are attending for 4 years, but then we organize different kind of upskilling and training initiatives for our industry. And recently, we have also opened it up for other countries so people can attend. I mean, in a way, we are open for people from all over the world, but I am aware that it is also far away to travel to Copenhagen, and it's also expensive and things like that. So I don't expect to get participants from literally all over the world, but at least from neighboring countries right now, we are open for that. Everything which is in English it's featured on the website, so you can see what is in English and what is in Danish. We are looking all the time to get new inspiration, new tutors, new experts in different fields that are of interest for the film industry. And I'm also seeking for partnerships. We haven't so far worked with any institutions outside of Europe, but it could be interesting to endeavor into that.
Thank you, Ina. Thank you. Okay, I'm going to come back to you, Emma. I know you are a little bit in a hurry, so thank you for being here. So, Emma, my first question for you is, how do you actively work to build relationship? I know you mentioned that, but do you want to also give us an example?
Of course. I work closely with the Swedish industry, with the Producers Association in Sweden and Gothenburg Film Festival's Industry Days. And for me, that is the key, to work together with the Swedish industry and the companies in Sweden to find out how they want to work and where they want to collaborate. And we do that and reach out to the embassies and to local partners in those countries. And I think that one way to collaborate with Sweden would be to connect with either the Swedish embassy, and it could also be going through the Gothenburg Film Festival and the Swedish Institute, because sometimes the industry have not been everywhere in the world. And we also encourage the Swedish industry to reach out to new partners, to find new co-production opportunities. And usually we start collaborating then with a local marketplace. It could be a local film festival with Industry Days. And we have a dialogue with them and try to find out what could be what kind of Swedish production companies would be of your interest. What kind of topics are relevant on your industry days. And then we try to find out, could we find one or two speakers from Sweden or production companies that could start out, come and get to know the local market, because in the end it's the real relationships we're looking for, and to build the trust and the interest, and then we normally build on that and can come back the year after and increase interest to find the opportunities. That's how we work, and that's shown being long term as well.
It's very clear and loud. Thank you. Thank you very much. So now I have a few questions for you too, Oliver. You have produced several international recognized films, we are very curious, and also a lot of co-production. How do you ensure the care and the story collaboration in the communities are represented is built into co-production process? Like is so many? Do you?
Well, I mean, our approach when we do co-production is, first it has to be that we love a project and we fall and believe in the director, but then the question is, how can we help the project to be even better? When you work with countries that maybe don't have their own film fund, and that we can raise financing in Europe, for example, I think that the key must be to respect the integrity of the project, and to find how to find money so that we could add eventually a key member of the crew, but that makes sense for the film. Then when we're shooting abroad, I have like 2 examples actually with Africa. I was also involved in a film called While We Live 10 years ago. Yeah. There was a director from Burkina Faso, Danny Kouyaté, was living in Sweden, and it was a Swedish film, but we shot half in Sweden and half in Gambia, that at the time hadn't made any film. So in that case, or like the case with the dog that we did in Kenya, the good thing that I was working with Swedish directors that were of African heritage, so they were very keen on finding the right approach, but that was as important for us. So that's what's important there is like finding collaborators, companies, local companies that you can work with, that we feel these people have the right approach. Pay the people who don't have some kind of post-colonialistic idea of, because that's the worst thing I could think of, and feeling that we do that together. You know stuff that we don't know, we know stuff that you might not know, but we do that together. Maybe we have better techniques than we can bring it, but you know how to do a film in these locations where we don't know how to handle that. And so I think the key is like finding like the right partners that have like the right mindset, and where you can build a mutual trust, that you feel that we do that together. That's the key, I would say.
That's a good key point, is to trust each other, the right people, and also learn from each other.
Yes.
That's really good. Thank you.
That's been very important also for the directors I've been working with. First 2, but yeah.
Thank you. Yeah, thank you for sharing that. And now to you, Lisa. In your international documentary work, how do you define the practice and the care in the co-production? I know you mentioned that with Yalla Parkour, but maybe we can take any example, like how do you, when navigating, like what he spoke about, the cultural or not seeing the different point of view, how do you navigate that communication?
Yes, thank you. Thank you, Filsa, for asking, because I think it's a very vital question. As representing a funding system, it's so important how you show up, I think. And it's so important to invite conversation and questions, because we don't know everything, we cannot expect anyone to know everything. If we embark on developing a project together, we embark on a journey, and we have to respect the nature of that journey. And especially if it's with a producer that has not made like tens of films before, it's a special kind of journey. And the good thing of representing a regional film fund, which is fairly small, is that I do have the time to sit down in conversations, ask me anything, sessions, check in now and then. How are things going? How are you doing? How are you feeling? How's the relationships within the team? I actually also took a coach training to get my mindset into, you know, being a partner and asking the right kinds of questions, rather than somebody who people expect to come with answers. And I think it's the same in a co-production relationship, that you need to open for that kind of vulnerability where there will be a lot of questions. You will find out a lot of things along the way. You will find out a lot of things that you did not necessarily want to engage in, but that are hinders on your way of getting your film done. And it's not only about treaties and about, you know, the administrative stuff. It's that too, of course. But also, you know, expectations. What do you want from the collaboration? Making sure that it makes sense and that it's not only like, how would you say, a transactional relationship, because usually that ends up being bad for the whole experience of the film and the final outcome of the film, I find. Yeah, that's how we try to work. And Yala Parkour was an example of that, actually. First time documentary production for the producer, first feature documentary for the director, and with a team that was working under hard circumstances in Gaza. And of course, the director could not be there in presence. So it was also very much a remote process, where part of the film was also taking place during the pandemic. So they also had to keep in contacts digitally at times when sometimes digital didn't work very well because of lack of electricity. And yeah.
Wow, thank you so much, Lisa. It was really, really good insight.
Just one example.
Yeah, that's
Just one example.
really, really good.
There could be many.
Yeah. Thank you. So, Ina, I'm going to go to you so you don't become the last one this time. What question do I have to you? Yeah. So, in your current work, you're designing professional training in National Film School. Can you tell us a little bit more about how you integrate values and care when you invite professions into workshop or hold a lecture? Like, how do you, and also like, how do you, maybe it become two questions, but I think I'm curious about, because you have a huge network, and also how do you navigate that relationship in order for them to come to Denmark and hold that?
So, yeah, it's always important when you invite people, either if they are participants in your seminar, conference, or course, a training course, or if they are the experts or teachers, that they have a feeling of being welcomed. So that's one thing. We try to give them a good 360-degree experience. So it's not only about filling content into their heads, but also hopefully, I mean, you, if you were participating, you would be the one to judge, but hopefully feel welcome, feel that you get some good food, that you get welcomed at the door. I always stand in the door and say welcome when people come, and that everybody feels that they are seen and welcome. That's very important for me. And another thing I just thought about while you were talking, that one of the many of the discussions I've had the last days here in Cannes, it's a lot about sharing knowledge. And I think it's the time where we don't think about each other as competitors, but as we need to upskill the whole industry, film industry together all over the world, actually. So as the more we can work together, the better. And I had a meeting with Screen Skills from UK yesterday. I had with Kulturakademien from Sweden, and everybody is saying, how can we share our knowledge? How can we tap into my network also. No, but also tap into their networks. And I'm always happy to share, because I know the more I share my contacts and network, the more I get back. So I'm always open to share email addresses and contacts and present people to others, because I know that it comes back to me in a good way, that then I get also the contacts. But also right now there are many discussions about how can we make sure that everybody's getting up to speed with all the new technology things happening. I'm not saying the AI word, but that we need to talk together and we need to share. That's crucial.
Yeah, that was really good. Talk to each other and share each other. Yeah, caring and sharing. Lena, hi. So I see you every day. So Lena, you have produced iconic films that are deeply character-driven, but also visually bold and globally relevant. And so from your perspective, what does it look like to bring principle of care, emotional, cultural, practical, anything into that, like into international co-production, especially when it comes to stories maybe that's outside your practice, or maybe you know about it but you don't know that much about it? So it was a broad question.
But I think the key to it all is respect for the people and for the differences. And instead of seeing the differences, the cultural differences, or the differences in the way of working or structuring a project or whatever, then use it and see it as a force, and build the project on that, and make it stronger, because you respect all the differences and you embrace them, and they will be in the project, so the project will be true to the place it is and the people who are working in it. Yeah.
That's really good. Thank you. So, okay, so time is running up, so I have one more question for you. Can we miss you? So, my question here. I have to have questions. Yeah. So, in your role, what key element do you consider essential when initiating? I know you mentioned that, but what would you maybe give advice to the people who are here in the audience, like how they come and approach you?
I really do look forward to being approached, I must start with saying. We are very happy to meet in Sweden or abroad. And I would say, coming to the Nordics, to our industry days, I know it's not only in Sweden, we have several. It's a really good way to meet and find co-producers and get to know each other. I think we've all talked about the relation building and the trust, and this is really the key from me. And coming there and meeting with us, and we will of course be there to connect you with the producers who are there, and to build on that step by step. And we would be really happy to visit and come with a delegation or speakers from Sweden to continue the relation. And I'm so happy that we collaborate with the Swedish embassies too, because they're all over the world, and we work closely together, and we have a dialogue all year round on how to proceed, to work more together.
Thank you, Emma. Okay, and so thank you. That was really good. Lisa, I'm coming to you. So, any barriers that you want to give example that you have resolved in through the co-production or making any?
Barriers are everywhere.
Yeah.
What to pick? I do think it's very important having a curiosity and entering the journey together. And I said it before, and it cannot really be enough stressed. There are many barriers. I mean, there are the administrative barriers of certain things being attached to certain conditions. Certain countries have a treaties, other countries not having treaties, not yet at least. And well, some of those barriers, best way of getting rid of them is to actually work through your organizations as filmmakers and approach your international contact people for international relationships through embassies, through trade organizations. Other barriers is to try to find ways of making it work. Like, what would it take to make this work? Okay, perhaps we need a third or a fourth co-production country. Perhaps we need a person who can tell us something or can help us some part of the way and reach out, not only to sit with our own struggles and feeling a bit buried under the burden. And actually very practical things. There are things like, I will make a plug for a report that just recently came out, which is the training organization EAVE, EAVE.
Yeah, that was good.
And they did this think tank on fair co-production and what that could look like in a global context. And they have very specific recommendations of things to talk about when building this relationship and things that you need to set into an amendment for a contract, if not in the contract. And it was a nice session the other day when it was launched, and it's really good reading. It's available now on the website, published today. So I would encourage looking through it, and then some of the barriers perhaps will be not there to begin with, at least.
That's good. Yeah, to talk about the barriers in the beginning also. Really good. Thank you, Lisa. Oliver, your experience across diverse regions and voices. What does a meaningful international collaboration for you look like in practice? Meaningful. I think all your projects are probably meaningful, but yeah.
You mean at the end of the day?
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, for me, the meaningful, it's like, production is such a long process. You have years to find the money or not find the money, but hopefully find the money, and then you produce, and it takes always more time that you think in the post-production, and then it takes even more time to get a festival release, so it's always at least 5 years. So it's important to embark with people that you're going to have fun with.
Yeah, of course.
Also, and that you feel, I want to be part of an adventure with these people. And that's a mutual feeling. So I think all steps are good. Of course, you're happy when the film goes in a good festivals, because you want that recognition for the creators and for the actors and for everybody who has been involved, that feeling that, we have a little gold medal for what we've done. So it's important. That's why it's always important that there are some kind of festival run, whatever the festivals, and some kind of theatrical release in some countries, because that's the way when you feel that, okay, we have achieved something, we meet the audience, and we thought we were crazy and it touched the audience. So that's kind of why we are doing this. But along the way, as you were saying, it's also important to feel that you don't break too many eggs, and that people are also happy and kind of think fondly of the adventure. It's not always easy, but it's doable, and again, it depends that you select the right people also. And especially when it comes to co-production or shooting in other countries, it's very important to, if you send people to work in another country, I'm always very, very keen on, has that person the right mindset? And people can be a very nice person and very fun and very, or friends and everything, and then you realize that's not the right mindset for that specific film, for this specific country, and so on. So that's it's kind of key.
Thank you. And I think it's almost similar question for you, Lena. Why is a approach essential? Also, like timely, like when you are creating, when you're starting a project. So to build
how to find partners?
No, not how to find partners. Actually, why is this like approach essential? What I mean by that is. To build a sustainability like production, co-production. So my question will be like, how do you approach it like in the beginning?
I look at the project, what's the story, where does it take place, what kind of people does it involve, and I look for partners that make sense for the project. So where can it be shot? Who needs to be in it? Where, my philosophy is always do not transport things more than strictly necessary. So find the place where you do it. Find as many things as you can find there, like equipment, people, crew. I would never fly the entire crew from Denmark to somewhere else to shoot. I would always work with local people. And I would look for partners with the same ideas as you have. People that you can talk to. If I say something, the person understands exactly the same thing as I mean when I say it. Sometimes communication goes wrong, and that is not good for a collaboration. So the same mindset and the same clear communication ways, and also the same ambitions for the film. If we say this is a low-budget film, I can't work with somebody who always tries to increase the cost or employ more people than are necessary or things like that. And how can we solve the production within the parameters that we have and in a common understanding?
Okay, thank you. That was very clear.
Maybe too long, but...
No, it was perfect. Ina, one last question. I think I'm out of question. No, I'm just kidding. I will say, I mean, you have, we mentioned earlier, you have a huge network, but how do you decide what kind of training or workshop to have? How do you decide that in the beginning? Is it?
We look at reports. Thank you for pointing me to the other report. I will read it on the way back, but there are lots of other reports stating what is the necessity in the industry right now. Just here in Cannes, there was a Filmi West report, the Nostradamus report, and also Christine reports, all the reports and numbers and statistics about where are the needs in the industry. And then, of course, I talk to the industry. I talk to the guilds of the film workers, and what do you think is the most necessary courses to make right now? So it's a mix of that, statistics, data from reports, and talking to people. And then also within Denmark right now, we are creating a network of the different guilds, and then I will sit at the table with them, and then they will all come and say, what do we need, and how do we make sure that our industry also have time and money to go to training courses, because the time issue is really very important, because many filmmakers, film workers, they don't have much time because they're struggling all the time of getting their projects together. So people's time, it's hard to get.
Yeah.
And that said, sometimes I just meet somebody really fantastic and inspiring, and then I say, hey, why don't you come and do some masterclass or teach at the Danish National Film School? So I'm all the time on the look for inspiring experts, talents, the film directors, film DOPs or something from the crew, that people from the crew who can come and inspire the industry in Denmark. So if I meet people here in Cannes and they look like they have a very, very interesting way of working, or they are famous, or they have some interesting perspectives. I was right now thinking, who is expert in the African market? That could maybe be interesting to do a workshop on that.
Thank you. Okay, so we have a few minutes, and you guys have allowed to ask one question, but it needs to be applied to everyone. Okay. Yeah. Oh, you just wait for it.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay, good. I present as well. I teach about projection. I come from the U.S., but I live in Canada. not a permanent resident yet, which means for film and television purposes, still an American. Indie producer, but I'm looking to do work with other countries. It gets complicated when you look at co-production treaties. And at the same time, many of us, like you said, don't have the time to know if there's a treaty with this country or that country. I personally have filmed 2 episodes of my show in the Nordics, in Stockholm and Feria. And so if I'd like to do more, how can I start? I know you talked a little bit about just kind of seeing ways that we can get around whatever barriers there might be. Are you open to doing collabs with producers who may not come from a country with a treaty?
That's more for you guys.
Canada has a treaty with the Nordic countries.
Yeah.
Yes, but let's say...
But he's American.
Yes, that's what I'm trying to work on. At the moment, still American.
Yeah.
Yeah, but your company is Canadian, right?
It is, but when I work within Canada, it doesn't matter about your company. They make sure they look at the people involved in the production, and above the line, if you are not a permanent resident, you cannot act as a Canadian company. I found that out the hard way.
See, we're all learning.
So if does the U.S. have a treaty with the Nordics?
I don't think the U.S. has any co-production treaties, but we work with them anyway.
and how do you work with, let's say, smaller producers, for example? Have you not?
Have you?
I mean, no, I haven't worked with the States, but I mean, like for example, I co-produce with Lebanon, and it's a country that doesn't have any funds, but the lead producer were Lebanese, and there was co-production with several European countries. So it's, I mean, nothing stops private companies to co-produce with each other. Then the European treaties can limit, for example, I discovered recently with applying with a Palestinian project that the Film Institute now has a rule that if the lead producer is not from the European umbrella, you have to have a maximum of 30% of money coming from outside the European co-producers, for example. So there are these kind of things that you need to learn the hard way, but nothing even stops from co-producing, I would say. Yeah.
So a treaty isn't required then?
No.
Okay.
No, the treaty is required so that the film is officially considered to get like national film funds. But American states don't have a national film fund, so it doesn't matter.
But there are also ways to do it, like, for example, if you have a huge amount coming in from an American company, you can make it. You can make a sales agreement with somebody who sold the territory or whatever, so that it's, not figuring as U.S. money. I mean, yeah.
Okay. So wait, it's figure outable.
Yeah.
I mean,
it's workable.
What you're saying is like private equity is private equity, so you can put a bit of money that comes from a rich person in the States, like in the Danish part, for example. Yeah. I just found this money.
There are ways.
There are ways.
Off mic.
Off mic.
No, a good start. Oh, sorry. Too many mics at the same time, I think. But one way of having the first step is actually to approach one of the film commissioners of the Nordic countries, because they are often the entry points for producers, and they would guide you further. And if you would want to do, for example, location scouting, or if you want to find the right professionals to work with, or what would be the best marketplace for me to meet the right kind of producers for what I want to do, they would be the persons guiding you. And here in Cannes, you meet them at the Nordic House, and around the world, the Nordic Film Commission, when they're working together, and otherwise the national film commissions in each country. So they are good people to talk to.
Thank you. I think.
Very good.
Yeah.
And also one more thing, I don't think that I mean, in Denmark at least, they are very flexible and not too tight to the convention and open to find solutions, because we want to work with other countries. Yeah.
Okay, I think our time is up, and I am want to thank you guys all, and Emma had to go and thank her too. So thank you so much for being here, and thank you again, Prudence and the team, Janne Beans. Thank you for you guys too.
Thank you for inviting us.